yeah, there seems to be a benefit to a positive belief. You have to be like a binary one versus zero. You can't just sit like in negative,
Right.
not. I disagree with everything. I'm a skeptic. You have to any even being a skeptic is still like a affirmation towards this structure of belief. Like I affirmatively say that that is a negative or something. You know what I mean?
That's something that I've been contending with a lot recently because sort of as a more atheistically inclined person,
Hmm.
the scientific worldview is not one that if you were to completely look at the world as it is empirically rationally, you wouldn't be able to by yourself derive a deep sense of meaning, and you would miss out on a lot of insights if you were to say, well, 6,000 years ago, people sacrificed goats, and that's nonsense. Yeah, forget about it. It's stupid.
Stupid.
I mean, why did they sacrifice goats?
Heathens. Well, they were
What
stupid
was
and we're better
the
now. Yeah.
worldview that caused them to sacrifice goats? And there,
Yeah.
in what sense does the mythology telescoped around us provide a shoulders to stand on, so that we can stand on the shoulders of giants, rather than say only what is scientifically true is where I
Right.
derive values, and sort of
Right.
why?
And see,
Yeah,
obviously science is good and there's great things we've learned from it, but I don't like the new like there are people that have a new modern science conceit of like this is the greatest time in all aspects. We know everything now. We're super geniuses. Like they're not gonna fuck anything up with their new science or cause any new problems or something. Or like you said, disregard these cultures of the past are antiquated. They know nothing. They weren't intelligent. I mean, now we have the real intelligence.
right.
I know. Really, where
And the
we're at now
traditions
is
of our
just
real
is the
intelligence
natural.
is, yeah,
They're lucky to be here where they are now. It's not so much that they're really as smart as the technology. It's just you just happen to be at the end of the curve. You ended
right.
up here.
Well, and where did those things come from? We
Exactly.
talked
Those
about
sheep people that were
alchemy gave
slaughtering them.
rise
Yeah.
to
You should be
modern
thankful
science,
for
and
goat sacrifices. I
yeah,
mean, that goat sacrifices lead to spaceships eventually. Well, I mean,
eventually,
maybe yeah.
it's true.
Technically,
It's
it takes you from a monkey to
having a deep appreciation of I think this is something that I've maybe more come to reading a lot more Campbell and Jung, is having a deeper appreciation for the gradual sedimentary buildup of culture, and maybe that last Peterson book that we read,
mhm.
that gradual buildup of sedimentary buildup of culture as a sort of telescoped thing around us that we swim in as children and then transcend to forge a new path, as something that has to be utilized. Otherwise, things might become too nihilistic, and things might lead to the purely sort of postmodern ways of thinking, which if left to its own devices leads to chaos. Not to say that anything, because I love objective science and I think it's
Oh
great,
yeah.
but I'm also not religious.
I mean,
But
nobody wants religious loons running the government. I would say I
right,
am religious, and I don't want a religious president because I doubt he believes what I believe. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like,
right,
but yeah, it, objective science is great, and it should be used for its purpose. But like, there's people that will act like an objective fact is like I don't know, I can't think how to phrase it right now, but it's you can't make like a reason out of an objective fact. There's different modes of experiencing a thing. Like Jordan
right.
Peterson talked about the thing that's on the counter. It has an empirical weight, a size, a dimension, but depending on what the object is, it has a different meaning to the child that might reach for it. You know, it could be hot.
As
It
a
could be
valence
food.
relative to its, yeah,
There's a valence quality that empirical science kind of disregards to a certain degree.
yes,
And not only that, but like there is I feel like when people say objective science or empirical science, they act like we can know things for a certainty. We still have to ballpark things. Even numbers themselves are a ballpark,
yes,
right?
yes,
When we launch a rocket, we do rocket science. We're still like getting it in within a margin of error. It's not like it
yeah,
hit the number. So you never even people that say they know things objectively or empirically never know things for certain. That's why I
Right.
like philosopher Karl Popper. He's I guess called a post-positivist, which is to believe that I'm sure there is an absolutely true, the best way to launch a spaceship that's right on the numbers, but based on our limited ability, because we're all subjective perspectives combined into an objective perspective, we have to ballpark it, and that's
It's all just
all we're gonna get.
it's all just heuristics. We develop heuristics which allow us to sort of get as good as we can get. Which
Right.
It's usable.
The thing
It's
is, like
functional.
about numbers though, like
Yeah.
the fact that we can have a subjective opinion in reference to an objective, it kind of implies that there is an absolute possibility. Like if we had the numbers as they actually are, we would know what the truth is. So that means that truth does exist if you make a construct for it, but you're never going to know it.
Right.
You can only
Well,
ballpark it.
Isn't that's Laplace's demon. Laplace's
Uh-huh.
demon is the hypothetical being that's able to know the position and velocity of every particle in the universe, and so can
Right.
project the universe backward in time and forward in time and see the whole object of the universe as a thing, as an object, because he knows the current position. But we are incapable of knowing that. I think where you and I probably differ is that I sort of I don't I try not to, and I don't really place any, well, some maybe, but importance on the any particular worldview is going to change over time because of human processes. Cultures change things. The zeitgeist is always shifting forward. Norms change, behaviors change, the concept of right and wrong changes. I like to go to Catholic Mass. I like to go to the Hindu temple. I like to go to the Buddhist temple. I like to swim around in all of it, because all of it has been dipped in the ink of the past. And when I go to the Buddhist the Thai Buddhist temple near my house, and I partake in the meal and the prayer, or I go to the Hindu temple, or I go to the Catholic Mass, I'm swimming in the embroidery of the past, and that to
juices.
me gives me great meaning. But that's
Yeah.
not to say this one I must know that this one is somehow
Well, see,
right or
that-
superior.
yeah, I don't-
I like it
I
at
don't-
all.
I
And
agree, and I don't have any reason to or anymore. Or I don't want to like argue with anybody. I'll just have my own beliefs on the side, and I mean, there's nothing to argue about.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
kind of agree.
I guess I would just more put it in the context of, and it has nothing to do with whatever my religious beliefs are. I would say like I'm just thinking now of like science and objectivity and how people throw around their opinions, which is where they act like they know absolute truth about anything that's empirical, where it's impossible to know anything for certain. There's only ballparking, I guess.
Here, I think, maybe this is a way. Yeah,
And
yes.
and so that's why I say the only thing I would be certain about would be religion, because that's faith, and that's always quote unquote bullshit. That's always faith. It has nothing to do with empiricism. It's always a leap, because that's what faith is about. I guess.
That's what being human is about. So everything that we've ever done as a species, everything that has ever allowed us to attain anything new, has been a heuristic of some kind. Whether it's been understanding the motion of the planets and the stars that allow us to predict seasons, or all of these things are just heuristics, ways, approximations that allow us to take one step forward, or a tool to use that allows us to get to the next thing. Okay, maybe it's not the most objective, perfect thing, but it is a thing which gets us somewhere. It's not stasis, and it's not moving backward. So it's all kind of heuristics in a way, and so maybe if you choose to live in the prefrontal cortex, and if you choose to be a human being in that sense, which everyone does, then you choose to live in a subjective space, and you choose to live in a space where there is no such thing as meaning is inherently meaning in the human sort of domain is inherently subjective, changing, personal, and you can't derive that from, if you find out something about how spaceships move, or that's useful, but that's not maybe the meaning of life, or that's not the only place that the meaning of life comes from, right? So it's
Well, I guess,
the whole
I
tapestry
just don't,
is just kind of a collage of stuff that we jumble against that provides us some sort of feeling of purpose.
It's just,
and meaning.
I guess the thing about like knowing that the universe is going to end means there's no meaning in life, right? It's like Woody Allen when he's in the dad loves that scene. He always talks about it. You remember that scene or no?
Yeah, sure. He says he found out that the universe will
is
reach maximum
expanding,
entropy, and it'll result in a heat
So
death.
what's the point of anything?
Yeah,
Alvy, that'll be billions and billions of years from now. So why don't we just enjoy ourselves while we can?
that should be the philosophy of life. Maybe not in the hedonistic sense, but
yeah.
Yeah. But that's a good philosophy to live by.
I guess so. Yeah.
That's the philosophy.
Well, it's just, I guess it's also down to like what's actionable too or useful. Like even if that is true, I mean it will be billions and billions of years from now. You can't just sit around worrying about it.
Right.
You gotta get up and go to Dollar General and buy some macaroni and cheese or something.
Yeah,
to make for dinner, or you're gonna get hungry.
At Dollar General. Yeah. That's exactly right. You got to go to Donald. You got to eat something, or you're going to be hungry. At least bodily urges should tell you that we don't live in the time scale of billions of years, and the scale.
Yeah, but see, then you go to Dollar General every day. Every day, there's inverse qualities too. You go to Dollar General every day and you eat mac and cheese every day, and then you're 500 to 600 pounds.
Right.
And you wish that the universe would break up because you're so unhappy with where you're at.
Yeah.
So there's always balance.
Right. Exactly. Well, and also, it's just sort of like life doesn't exist on that time scale. The immensity that occurs in the scene the scenes in Tree of Life of creation and evolution is sort of like that's the backdrop. That's what it really is. That's the objective reality. But let's bring it to the domain that actually matters to us, because we are that. And if this were a movie about rats, then it would be a rat story about rats, and there would be rat culture and rat religion, and there would be the
Disney movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Mickey Mouse is a rat.
Do you know what I mean, though?
Yeah, I do.
It's sort of like, this is the whole thing, but let's bring it down to the view of this species and what it means to this species.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what's interesting, that they do reflect each other in some way. You know, that there's microcosms and macrocosms. Everything matches. Like you see those pictures of the universe that look like neurons in the human brain. Have you ever seen that? Or no? Or the certain neural. Whatever
there's the macro scale of the there are.
So they do the same thing in Baraka, like with the bloodstream, basically, and the flow of traffic, I think. Or not.
That would be for the fractals, right? So
fractals, yeah, they operate the same way. They're all like it's the same ratio of growth, basically, that like rivers take and blood vessels take. It's like the universe is mathematically sound. Like it's all going on the same.
Right.
There's the same.
All the way
parts.
up and all the way down.
And we haven't found the end of it or the beginning of it, which is what's really crazy, too.
That's the crazy thing.